Today, News Central TV organized a town hall parley titled Inside Lagos Politics, with special focus on the fallout of the Lagos LGA elections. It served as a fact-finding dialogue on the perceived irregularities that marred the Lagos LGA elections held on the 12th of July 2025. Now, where multiple reports from multiple stakeholders alleged widespread misconduct, rigging, omission of cleared candidates and ballots, and conflicting claims between parties and LASIEC. Well, joining me to discuss this right now is Adeola Onikoyi, is the Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party for Lagos State. Thank you for your time, Adeola.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Good evening. I know that earlier today, News Central, with the key stakeholders in the last LGA polls in Lagos, had an extensive conversation around the process and the final outcome of the Lagos LG polls. You were there, but I would just like to ask you, as a member of the Labour Party, just, maybe 60 seconds or less, how would you rate the process that happened on that day?
Well, it was a failure, if I would say so. What we saw on that day was a clear case of coalition between LASIEC and the APC, right? You saw it on that today. You saw it, you heard it from our candidates, a lot of our candidates who have evidence, some of who are going to court. And, we've seen evidence of ballot stuffing, LASIEC officials colluding with APC candidates, APC officials to intimidate party agents on the day of election. And so would I rate it over 100? 0, right? 0.
You said you would rate it a 0.
A 0 of 100, yes, because LASIEC had one job and one job only, to provide a free and fair election on that day, and they failed with that mandate.
All right, let's walk with some statistics here. We know that in Lagos State there are 20 local government areas, 57 chairmanship seats in Lagos, and of course we also understand that around that there are 37 local government development areas, and there are about 376 councillorship positions. But a bit of backdrop as to statistics also as regards registered voters, over 7 million, PVC collected, over 6 million, PVC uncollected, about 845,225, and also polling units, 13,000 plus across the 376 wards. And then, like I said earlier, 20 local government areas and 37 LCDAs. But one thing that seemed to have happened on that day was low voter turnout. In spite of these statistics, there was voter apathy. I mean, as a party member, what do you think was responsible for this?
Firstly, one of the things we saw on that day was a lot of intimidation of even the voters. Right? People were told, if you're not going to vote a certain party, the ruling party, stay at home. In a lot of areas in Lagos State, we saw that, and our candidates have evidence of that. But voter apathy is generally a problem during local government elections, right? It's a general thing all across the world. And as an opposition party, what we had done in the lead up to the election is a get out the vote strategy, right? We were out a lot in the media to tell people, to inform people, and to educate people that elections are coming, they should come out to vote. And we saw a lot of our people come out to vote. The problem was the votes did not count.
So for you said that you mentioned intimidation as part of being a problem on that day and the reason for low voter. But where is also some would say, aside all of that, there was also the issue of awareness. I know that with the level of awareness, you might want to say that maybe it's on the part of the electoral umpire to do that, and maybe the government. But there's also the role of political parties here, which you're one of them. So as regards awareness, would you say as a party you did your part in sensitizing people on that day?
there's another sector that you forgot to mention here, and that is the media, right? There's also a role the media plays in this, to educate and to inform the people that elections are coming up. We as a party did our part. We, as I said, we had a strategy, a get out the vote strategy, and we were locked in the media, right, to tell people to come out to vote. And once again, a lot of our people came out to vote on the day. The unfortunate thing is, the votes did not count.
All right, I would like the, of course, statistics to come up on the screen as regards registered voters, collected PVCs, uncollected PVCs, the polling units to come up. There you just have, an outline on your screen there, what we have in Lagos State. Registered voters over 7 million, PVCs collected 6 million plus, and uncollected PVC 845,225 polling units, over 13,000 spread across the 376 wards, local government areas 20, and the LCDAs 37. Now, I would like us to speak particularly right now on the role of LASIEC. You can see there notable election results spread across some of the LGAs there, Ekpe, Lagos Mainland, Lagos Island, and Ikeja. Would you say that in terms of the role of LASIEC compared to what Lagos has experienced in the previous elections, how would you rate it? Were they on top of their job, even though you said you are scoring the entire process 0 over 100? But in terms of LASIEC and its participation in all of this, what's your view?
In my view, honestly, this was the worst. This was the worst local government election we've held in this state. Never have I seen or never have I witnessed such open collision between the ruling party and the state independent electoral commission. Right? Never have we seen such thing brazenly, openly. And when, we had an incident where a state chairman, witnessed ballot stuffing right in her presence. And she called it out. She called an area commander, she called the commissioner of police from Lagos State. An area commander was called down. The area commander arrested both the LASIEC official and the party agent who was doing what they were doing. And all of a sudden, a call came and they had to be released. This is something that was witnessed by my state party chairman. Right? This is something we've seen. This is something you also heard during the town hall meeting. A lot of these examples. And so, in my opinion, honestly, this was the worst.
All right. Now, of course, still on it, let's also talk about another key stakeholder, which is the security on ground. At the town hall meeting we had present at the Lagos State Police PRO, Benjamin Udenyi, who sort of gave, some perspective from the security angle, trying to address some of the issues raised. Some of it was the fact that some security, what I call it, operatives on ground, were compromised. Some of the candidates did allege that they were, bribed, while some said they seemed to look on even when there appeared to be irregularities. So I would like you to speak. He did talk about the fact that, look, many of these security personnel at the polling unit areas cannot be armed as a result of what the law requires. But from a party perspective, moving forward, particularly when it comes to the role of security, what are you recommending?
I recommend they do better. Firstly, they can only work with the tools they have, and the police PRO was right, saying that they cannot come to the polling units armed. But there are better ways to secure a polling unit than what we have seen from the Nigerian police. There are better ways to treat, and this is talking to the top management of the police. There are better ways to treat your officers in order for them not to be compromised on election day. Because it is very easy for them. It is very easy for the for police officials to be compromised on election day due to the living conditions they've been experiencing, due to the working conditions also, right? And so I would say, firstly, the top management, take care of your people so they don't get compromised, and also to the police, But on the ground, to the police commanders and the likes who are deploying the units, there are better strategies than just saying that, oh, this one policeman in the polling unit, would have over hundreds of people. He's able to secure it. That's an impossibility.
All right, thank you so much, Adeola. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, the conversation definitely continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. Of course, at this point, we are still looking at the fallout of the Lagos State local government elections. News Central did have a town hall parley today, and of course, we explored all of the intricacies that happened during that process. Joining this conversation right now is Nelson Ekujumi. He's the Executive Director, Center for Rights and Grassroots Initiative. He joins virtually. Thank you for your time. Now, Nelson, let me ask you this. There are several issues that were recorded, during this process. Part of it has to do with voter apathy. We understand that in spite of the amount of voters that registered, PVCs collected, what we noticed is that turnout was low. I mean, what do you think, is responsible for this?
Well, thank you very much. So many factors can be adduced for the poor voters' turnouts. And part of those factors is that even the political parties that were contesting, we are all sure that these are political parties that have members. Even if, people who are not affiliated to political parties didn't come out to vote, how about the members of the party? And the reality on ground, even, months or days before the election, was that it was virtually one party that was campaigning and, had these posters, billboards, almost everywhere. It was as if other parties went to sleep. And so many factors, like I said, so the parties are majorly guilty of not educating voters enough because the responsibility of motivating or mobilizing voters to the polling stations is the responsibility of all. Then there's also another factor can also be gleaned from the the mindset. Oh, local government elections is the party in the state that is always winning all the election, all the seats contested for. So the media also contributed to it because when people continuously peddle information that is not correct, because I know for free that as much as we agree that the local government election has a lot of challenges, but non-participation has also given room for these rumors to thrive, and the media has also helped them, to escalate it, as well as even those political parties. For example, you saw in some local governments or local council development areas where there was only one political party at on the ballot box, and if you go around the state, you can count the number of party agents belonging to other parties. So if those parties are not themselves interested in the election, people will just feel, oh, it's a one-way or one-way traffic election, and they will say, okay, even if it is 5 votes, let those people who have the time go and exercise it, and let us be done with this business. So the reason for the voters turnout, can only be captured succinctly if we conduct a research, because a lot of persons have come to believe that whenever local government elections are conducted, that it's a one-way traffic. But if we don't engage the process, we'll continue to run with this narrative, and it will continue to become the reality at the end of the day. But when we engage the process, that is the only way we can effect changes. So for me,
Nelson,
so many factors.
So you said that in your analysis, you did say that it appeared like there was just one political party that seemed to put in effort when it comes to sensitization and even campaign, You sort of insinuated that even with the areas of campaign, that there was just a single political party having its posters everywhere, and you largely blame the low turnout to the parties, particularly maybe on the opposition side. Well, joining this conversation right now is John Akano. He's the Labour Party chairmanship candidate, at Eti-Osa local government area. So, John, it's great to have you join this conversation. I would just like you to also speak. Is this true? Did you actually do anything to let people know that you are a candidate, on the ballot, based on what Nelson has said?
Yes. For everyone, good evening for having me. For everyone in Eti-Osa could testify to it that we'll do the proper campaign, where even if you still go around now in the area like Lekki Phase 1, you still see my posters there. We shut down Eti-Osa local government, and we did our rally. We did our sensitization, and we sensitized people about the election. We did our campaign. We visited all the grassroots in Eti-Osa local government, visited all the ballots, meeting with people, and having a lot of conversations with both even the Okada riders, the people in Eti-Osa. So, if not that, because on the day of election, a lot of people were being defranchised of not casting their votes, and a lot of people were being bullied not to even come closer to the voting points. Some people were being disengaged, and a lot of my electoral malpractice took place in every corner in Eti-Osa, which we have a lot of evidences, and I think some of the evidences have been dropped today. So, like I said this afternoon, that as long as every of the SEC are in charge of
so
local
what you're
government
saying,
election.
Sorry, what you're saying, just to recap what you're saying, you are saying that, as against what some of things Nelson has said, that you actually did do your due diligence when it comes to campaign and sensitization. Now, I'm going to put a direct question to you. Did you experience any form of intimidation, whether directly or indirectly? Were there scenarios where you put posters somewhere and it was torn away, or you tried to campaign and then you were attacked? Did that happen to you?
During campaign, there was no attack. But during all the posters, I know how many times I have to go and replace many posters. As I'm putting it there, before you come back the next morning, those posters have been torn away. It happens in some areas, and in some areas like Lekki, that did not happen. But in some other areas, like some parts of VGC area, as we're putting it, the next morning they are taking out the posters. And we did all we could do to make sure that elections was stated for July 12th. Everyone in Eti-Osa knew. In fact, I was at your station a day before the election. To see, yes, I was on head on the day to election to see part of the way of sensitizing people about the election. I was at Nigeria Info. I was at different.
All right. Thank you very
stations.
much. Thank you so much, John. I mean, you just saw on the screen a while ago a breakdown of how the votes were sort of distributed across some of the constituencies. But let me come back to you, Nelson. You can just hear, the opposition here, a candidate saying that there are certain areas where he did put his posters and it was torn before the following day. So would you also want to look at maybe the power of incumbency in the state being at play here, where opposition is maybe silenced when it's time for election, tactically?
Well, Dapo, one fact you must understand if you have been following our political trajectory is that political parties employ all sorts of, let me use a local word, all sorts of rough tactics to undo one another. And, defacing, tearing posters is also part of their game. They know how they run their business. But most importantly is that the opposition parties, if you look at the level of campaigns across, the young man who just spoke was talking about Eti-Osa. We are talking about a nationally registered political party. The party does not exist as an Eti-Osa political party. If you go to most local governments, other parties will have sent. That's what I'm saying. They might have done their bit in Eti-Osa, but they didn't do enough. Because even days before the election, some of us were asking, where are these other parties, or are they not going to contest? Are they not going to take part in this election? So when you talk about posters being defaced or torn, that is how they run their business. But for a lot of persons in the society, they are not, they are not amused or they are not surprised by such tactics. All parties do it across the board. So don't assume maybe it's because of the ruling party or because of the opposition party. They all run that business. But what we are saying here is that the level of intimacy between the electorate and the political parties is very, very poor. Because it's only somebody you are integrated with that you want to run with.
All right, Nelson, thank you so much. Because we really need to wrap this up. John, I mean, as a former candidate during this last local government elections and with what you've seen, in 30 seconds, what will you recommend, as maybe a solution to some of the challenges you noticed moving forward, for elections at the grassroots level, in the state? 30 seconds or less.
So in the meeting where we had, and I said that as long as all the SEC are still in charge of the local government election is always going to be run this way. But I will appeal to the government to allow INEC to oversee and conduct local government election. I think with that, we'll be able to have a free and fair election, because that really happened in July 12th was nothing short of selection. There was no election. I can boldly say that.
All right, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you on the show this evening. John Akano, Labour Party Chairmanship Candidate, Eti-Osa Local Government Area, Adeola Onikoyi, Publicity Secretary of Labour Party, Lagos State, and also Nelson Ekujumi, the Executive Director, Center for Rights and Grassroots Initiative. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.